Hi guys, so today we're going to be learning about the midpoint and the distance formula. So before we get started with any of our example problems, let's go over these two formulas. So the midpoint formula, it gives us the distance, the point that is halfway in between 2 points. And so to find it, you're going to add the two x values of your 2 points and then divide by 2, and then do the same thing for the y values. For the distance formula comes from the Pythagorean theorem, and you can see a proof for how it's derived here on page 563. Okay? And then from the Pythagorean theorem, the distance formula that comes as a result is d, which stands for distance, equals the square root of your two x values subtracted from each other and then squared, plus your two y values subtracted from each other squared. Okay. So with those two formulas in mind, we're going to get started with example 1. So here, landscape design includes 2 square flower beds and a sprinkler halfway between them. So we want to find the coordinates of the sprinkler if the origin is here at the lower left corner of the grid. Okay. So here, smack dab in the middle of this flower bed is the point 4, 5. That's the center here. And then in the center of this flower bed is 14, 13. Okay. So the sprinkler system is going to be in the middle of these two. So we want to find where the midpoint of this is, so that way we find the coordinates of the sprinkler. Okay. So then our midpoint then is going to be halfway. So we're going to take our two x values and we're going to add them. So 4 plus 14, and then divide by 2. And then do the same thing for our y values, 5 plus 13, and divide by 2. Okay. So 4 plus 14 is 18. 5 plus 13 is 18 as well. So 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. So the coordinates of the sprinkler will be at 9, 9. Okay. So why don't you try CYP1, and then once you're done, come check your answer. So the location of the bench is at 3.5, 14. If you got that right, you can move on to the example 2. If not, here is your explanation. Okay. So we're told that the bench is going to be in the middle of the lawn area, which is confined by these points here. Okay. So for the midpoint, we're going to add the two x's, 0 plus 7 divided by 2. 0 plus 7 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Okay. Then same thing with the y, 17 plus 11 is 28, and then divided by 2 for halfway, that's 14. So 3.5, 14. So the next example asks us to find the distance between 2 points. Okay. So the formula again is d equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay. Which one's x1, y1, which one's x2, y2, it doesn't matter, you just need to stay consistent. Okay. So I'm going to make this x1, this one y1, and I'll make this x2, y2. Okay. So then I'm going to plug in. So x2, so that's 4, minus x1, so minus negative 3 squared, plus y2, which is negative 4, minus y1, which is 6 squared. Okay. So minus a negative becomes plus, so 4 plus 3 is 7, so 7 squared, and then negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10. Okay. It's important, especially for the negative, that it's written with the parentheses, because this is not the same as this. Okay. You can see that by typing it into the calculator. Okay. So 7 squared is 49, and then negative 10 squared is negative 10 times negative 10, which is 100. Okay. And so this will give me square root of 149. Okay. And so the distance between these is square root of 149 units. There you go. So why don't you try CYP2, and then once you're done, come check your answer. Okay, you should have gotten square root of 58. If you got that right, you can move on to our last example. If not, here is your explanation. Okay, so I did x minus x, so negative 6 minus negative 3 squared. Negative 6 minus a negative is plus, so negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. Okay, even if you did it the other way, even if you did negative 3 minus negative 6, negative 3 minus negative 6 will be plus 6. That'll give you positive 3. 3 squared will still give you the 9. Okay. Then 5 minus negative 2 minus a negative is plus, so 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 squared is 49. 9 plus 49 is 58. And then there's no perfect square to pull out of there, so it stays as square root of 58. Okay, so last example here. So a coordinate grid is placed over a California map. Bakersfield is located at 3, negative 7, and Fresno is located at negative 7, 9. If Tulare is halfway between Bakersfield and Fresno, which is the closest to the distance in coordinate units from Bakersfield to Tulare? Okay. So first thing we need to figure out is where is Tulare. So we know that it's halfway. Okay. So then using the midpoint formula, I can figure out the ordered pairs for Tulare. So I'm going to add the two x's, the 3 and this negative 7, divided by 2. And then add the y's, negative 7 and 9, and divide by 2. Okay. 3 plus negative 7 is negative 4. Negative 7 plus 9 is 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, so now I have the ordered pair for Tulare. Okay. Then it wants the closest distance from Bakersfield to Tulare, so I need to find the distance using the coordinates for Tulare and the coordinates for Bakersfield. So D equals, okay, so it's going to be x minus x, so 3 minus negative 2 squared. So x of Bakersfield minus x of Tulare. Okay. And then with the y's, plus the y for Bakersfield, which is negative 7, minus the y for Tulare, which is 1. Okay. Minus a negative is plus, so 3 plus 2 is 5, so 5 squared. Negative 7 minus 1 is negative 8, so this is negative 8 squared. 5 squared is 25. Negative 8 squared is 64. And then this gives me 25 plus 64 is 89. Okay. And then here, since all of these are decimals, except for this one, I'm guessing it would want, there's no square root of 89. So we need to figure out what the square root of 89 is. And that is approximately 9.4339. Right. And so then that's closest to B, 9.5. Okay. So why don't you try CYP3, and then once you're done, come check your answer. You should have gotten h square root of 50 units. If you got that right, you can get started on your homework. If not, here is your explanation. Right? So it gives us the points for A and B, and then asks us to find the distance between the midpoint of A and B and point B. Okay. So first I need to find the midpoint of A and B, so using the midpoint formula, add the two x's and divide by 2, add the two y's and divide by 2. Negative 4 plus 10 is 6, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Negative 5 plus negative 7 is negative 12, divided by 2 is negative 6. So here's the midpoint of A and B. Okay. So I want to know how far this is from B. Okay, so using the coordinates for B as well as this midpoint, I'm going to find the distance. So square root 10 minus 3 squared plus negative 7 minus negative 6 squared. 10 minus 3 is 7. 7 squared is 49. Negative 7 minus negative 6, so that's plus 6. That'll give me negative 1. And negative 1 squared is 1. 49 plus 1 is 50. Okay, if it asked me to simplify it, that would be 5 square root of 2, because 50 is 25 times 2, square root of 25 is that 5. However, since it left it improperly as square root of 50, then h here says square root of 50. Okay? So that's it for today. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.